Let's go ahead and call the Community Services Committee meeting for August 16th to order here. And can we have a call to order, please? Roll call to determine a quorum, please.
Chairman Councilor Manuel J. Martinez,
Present?
Mayor Pro Tem Councilor Dennis Tim Salazar,
Present.
Councilor Peggy Sue Martinez,
Honored to be with you all.
and Councilor Dorothy Didi Valdez. Mr. Chairman, you have a quorum. You may proceed with business.
Thank you, sir. Okay, councilors, you have the agenda in front of you. Do I have a motion to approve it?
I'd like to make a motion to approve, sir.
Second,
Okay, we have a motion to approve and a second. Can we please have a roll call? I mean, a vote, please. All those in favor of approving the agenda signify by saying aye.
aye.
Anyone against? Same sign. Motion approves. Do we have anyone signed up for public comment? Okay, we have no one signed up for public comment. Committee member comments. Councilor Martinez, we'll go ahead and start with you, ma'am. Do you have any comments?
Just happy to be with all of you guys this evening. Looking forward to the reports. A little concerned about the Lucero Center swimming pool. Like to get an update on that. And other than that, nothing, just again, reiterating the success of the backpack giveaway and just the generosity of our community at large. Los Alamos Credit Union, Del Norte, Zia, Hemis Co-op. There's so many that I'm gonna probably mention at our next meeting. But we definitely couldn't do these events without generosity from our community, and our community has always been extremely generous. So we're just very grateful for that. Thank you, Chairman Martinez.
Thank you, ma'am. Councilor Salazar?
Yes, thank you, Chairman Martinez. I'd just like to state a couple of quick comments. I had an opportunity to drop by Lucero Center a couple weeks ago, so I got to meet briefly with Maria, and then also I stopped in at the library to talk with Sherry briefly. It was just a very brief visit, but I just wanted to check in and say hi. And I just think what I've observed is they run a very great operation. And thank you guys for all your hard work, you guys and your staff. And with that said, I'd like to, spend more time visiting, but I'll get a hold of all of you just within some advanced time. So I don't take up too much of your time as well, because I saw you guys were extremely busy. Like there seems to always be a lot going on. But again, I just want to relay my appreciation. Thank you guys. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. And Dorothy's not here. Okay. Any more comments from the councilors? Okay, on matters from the chair, I just want to echo, of course, you councilors, our staff is doing a great job. And they're being very busy now. I'm sure they are, especially with everything opening up. People, you can see, are outside enjoying the parks again. I don't know how many times I've driven by here and this place is packed every night. Pictures, of course, over the weekend, there was a great event. I'm hoping to get a little report on that from our community chairperson to see how that event went. But just looking at it, it's great to see stuff and people going out again. Of course, you can see people are still being cautious, wearing their masks and, trying to social distance as much as they can, keep people safe. But I want to really echo Councilor Martinez's comments on our fellow businesses that are here in town and what they're doing, considering the year that we know they all had. They're really stepping it up and showing how much they are here for our community, and we really need to appreciate them and everything that they're doing as a business and as collaborating with the city on events, and especially like the backpack giveaway, things that mean so much to the kids in this valley. That's so important. So kudos to all those guys, the businesses. Thank you guys so much, and thank you, Councilor Martinez, for bringing that up. So we're going to move on. Yes, ma'am.
Before you move on, Chairman, could I mention one other issue?
Go right ahead, ma'am.
I was handed some sad news recently that the Blue Star Mothers are no longer going to be here in the city of Espanola because they can't find an entity to take it over, and the people that have been doing it for more than 10 years, 13 plus years, and they're tired, and I understand, but I really hope that the city could do something to recognize their efforts for the last 13 years. And possibly by doing so, maybe strike some interest with maybe having some other entity or some other parent or somebody that's in the military at this time take over or start to help or volunteer for that entity, because it's something that really gives part of our community to those that are outside serving our nation. So possibly we could get it on the full agenda for a resolution or some kind of recognition for them at our next full meeting.
Maybe we could we maybe look at maybe doing a proclamation with
Yeah,
maybe a Blue Star Mother's Day or something
yeah,
towards
Awesome.
something like that, honoring them and their hard work.
yeah. That would be awesome. I'll get with the clerk's office and see if I can't provide as much information as possible to them so we can include that in a proclamation. Thank you, Chairman Martinez.
You're welcome. Thank you. I think that's a great idea. They have done a lot of great work. Seeing them at so many events, it would be hard not to see them anymore if that's the case. So let's hope that we can help salvage this important organization that they've become. Okay. We had the minutes in front of us. Do we have approval for minutes?
Mr. Chairman, there was no minutes as we did not have a meeting last month due to the lack of quorum.
Okay, and we had
So-
already approved the previous.
So- Right, we've
meetings.
already done
Okay.
those. So there was no minutes for last month.
Okay, thank you. Okay, for discussion and recommendation items to full council, we have approval for co-sponsorship for the 2021 Espanola Valley Electric Light Parade. And I believe we have Commissioner Bustos here with us.
I am here today in my capacity as president of the Downtown Action Team of Espanola, and we're here to request the co-sponsorship of the city of Espanola.
Oh, I'm on mute. Sorry. Sorry, Peggy. Can you hear me now?
Councilor Martinez, are you able to hear Commissioner Bustos?
Yes, I hear everybody. And she's a little bit like echoed to the back, but I hear her.
Anyway, I'm here this evening to request co-sponsorship of the city of Espanola for our 25th light parade. It would have been 25 years last year, but of course we got suspended because of the pandemic. So before you, I brought some of the entry forms for this year, and it kind of lays it out. It's a little different than past years, because if you look on the back side, there's a lot of disclaimers on COVID and different things on just for safety sake. So our plans are, of course, if possible, to have a regular parade where it's going down the street and we have people on the side. If we can't do that because of the rising numbers, I will also consider what we had thought of maybe last year, the static parade, where the floats maybe are stationary and the people drive by. And then, of course, it just all depends on what happens when the floats. So with that, I stand for any questions, and hopefully we can all work together this year.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve this request with the Espanola Valley Electric Light Parade for 2021 and send this to our full council.
We have a motion. Do I have a second?
Of course, and under discussion.
Okay, and under discussion, go ahead, Councilor Martinez.
Thank you, Chair Martinez. I just want to thank Commissioner Bustos for staying with this for as long as she has and being committed to this initiative. It's something that's really awesome. You all know how I feel about the electric parade. So thank you again, Ms. Bustos.
kids in the original ones, and that was 26 years ago, so now we're starting a new generation.
Wow. Go ahead, Mayor Pro Tem.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Christine, yeah, this has been a very, very bright spot for our city, our community, and everybody that comes to visit. Everybody knows about the Espanola Valley Light Parade, and thank you, and everybody that's worked with you every single year. And I know it's a year-round thing, preparation and so on. So it's really true when they say that the people of our Espanola Valley have true heart for everything that we do. It's pure heart. And this is, it seems to be getting better. It seems to be getting bigger every year. Unfortunately, with COVID last year, of course, you made do, and you were able to change things around very quickly as well. And it was still, a great thing. It's also nice to see that you have a backup plan, just in case, like you mentioned, the rising numbers of COVID. So, yeah, right. Yeah.
First priority.
Yes, very true. So just with that, thank you so much.
And before, I'd like to echo Councilor Martinez-Tejada's remarks about our merchants and everybody here in Espanola. They've actually been reaching out to me already, are we gonna have the parade, please send us a donation letter. So it's really nice to see that kind of commitment from our merchants and from the business people here in town. And, they want to see it go as much as everybody else. So it's great.
Well, thank you, Commissioner Bustos. I think, if one thing a year with COVID taught us was, I think we took maybe a lot of these events for granted as a community. We've just realized every year they were going on, and to have a whole year where none of them took place, including and I think everybody was expecting it. Well, at least we'll get the light parade by the end of the year, and then it didn't happen, except it did with the way it did, but not in its traditional way. I think a lot of people are looking at life, at the way we deal with things, and not for granted anymore. We're coming out and enjoying it, and I think you can really tell with this last summer event how many people came out and saying, you know what, we're ready to have a little bit of fun. And I think by the end of the year, boy, are people more than ready for a nice parade. And so I thank you so much for continuing it and not letting it diminish at all from last year. And I know it'll be better. Just every year it keeps getting better. Yeah. For all those that do want to stay home, they can still watch it. That's so comfortable. Well, we have a motion and a second. Can I have all those in favor of moving this co-sponsorship to full council signify by saying aye?
Aye.
Anyone against, same sign? Motion carries. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Sorry, I was muted. I was an I for the first yes. I'm a I.
I assumed it was, Counselor.
Thank you. Sorry.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and move on to department reports. We'll start with the Community Services Director, Mr. Jeremy Maestas, with Community Services Department report, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, honorable members of the committee. So I just have been here now a little over a month, and I have been very, very busy, as you can probably tell. I would definitely want to thank all my staff in the Community Services Department. They have really been working very hard with a lot of things coming out, especially now that facilities have been open to the public, and everybody wants to get out, everybody wants to go swimming, everybody wants to have parties. So I'm just really thankful for my staff and all the hard work that they've been doing to ensure that things are running as smoothly as possible for the members of the public. Just a couple of key points of things that I've been working on. So we did receive a grant from the Aging and Long-Term Services in regards to some improvements that are needed at our senior center parking lot. Originally, the plan was to do for the back part of the facility, but there was some issues on that in regards to them wanting to backfill the pool that was there and make it a parking area. And so essentially what we decided moving forward is we got the first phase of that completed. The second phase, we're going to actually work on trying to get the front parking lot, the main parking lot where people park, redone with that money. So we'll be working on that. We've been collaborating with Mr. Guruwachan Khalsa he has offered to provide us with food. I think he said like 4,000 pounds of food a month to give out to the people that are in need in the community.
Wow.
So Dora and myself have been collaborating with the County of Rio Arriba Senior Program, the Espanola Schools, with Janelle Lujan from there. And we're going to try to involve as many people as possible so that when we do get this shipment of food, it'll go out to the right people that need it. So I think he said he was going to send rice, beans, stuff like that, that we could give out to the people who are in need. So we're collaborating with him on that, but I'll have more information as we iron that out in regards to that.
On regards to that, will you be needing extra storage for this food, or or are you planning on more like getting it and distributing it as soon as you get it, kind of a scenario?
We're planning to get it and distribute it as soon as we get it. So that way it goes right away to where it needs to be. We also may be contacting the soup kitchen and other places like that that could utilize that food to give out, because his whole thing was that he wanted to ensure that it got out to the people that needed it, not necessarily a certain age demographic or anything like that. He just wants to ensure that it gets to those people that may need it.
Okay. Great.
The bond house, we did have the issue in the basement with the water heater leakage. Jeff and myself have been collaborating on that to get an insurance adjuster out here. We met with the insurance adjuster last week, I believe it was. We had to do a virtual tour of the damaged area in the basement. And so that proved to be pretty interesting in itself to try to get internet in the basement. But we visited with them, and we got the results back, but we probably are going to need to work on that some more. So I'll get some more information on that when we have it, but we have been moving forward on that as well. Okay.
Okay.
There are some vacancies in the community services department. Recently, we were able to reopen the position for the administrative assistant. So the department will be getting an administrative assistant. We have a cook aide part-time that's opened up now at the senior center. We have a vacancy in the parks department for a service worker that we're looking to have part-time, solely to focus on the sportsplex and the needs that are needed up there, especially now during the softball season. So if we're able to get somebody for that, that will be their primary focus, will be at the sportsplex to ensure that the fields are prepped and drug and lined and prepare for the events that are happening up there at the sportsplex. We have really continued great collaboration with the Northern New Mexico Regional Arts Center, the City of Española's Chamber of Commerce, the San Gabriel Historical Society, the Veterans Memorial Wall, and then now recently with the Plaza Foundation. So we're really carrying a good collaboration with them, and I'm really excited about that. Councilor Martinez did mention about the backpack giveaway that Project Race had put on the plaza. It was a really successful event, and we're very thankful to the people who participated in that, either by donating or providing services. The youth were very, very excited about that. They gave quite a bit of backpacks during that event, and even after the event, we still had some people that were coming to the city to ask for backpacks, and they were able to get some backpacks with supplies. So we're thankful to Justine and her group for putting that together. Dora and I were invited from the New Mexico Help Office to go to the Seniors Volunteers Recognition Luncheon with the foster grandparents and the senior citizens who participate in volunteering their time as foster grandparents. So we went out there and we visited with them and thanked them for what they do. And we also encouraged them to visit the senior center. And so that was a really nice event. I've continued to have monthly meetings with my supervisors and staff in all the departments that fall under community services. Recently, we did have the bidding for the Ranchitos renovations, and so we've received some bids on that and gone over some of those. So more information on that will be forthcoming. And then also the city manager has asked that I sit on the personnel policy committee that's doing the revisions to the personnel handbook. So that's been very informative, and we've had one meeting with that, and it looks like that'll be coming up here soon as well. And I stand for any questions, Mr. Chair, members of the committee, if you have any.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Jeremy, I'd just like for you to mention, if at all possible, the name of the individual that is donating the food, and you stated it is monthly, and how much food again is that?
I think he said somewhere like 4,000 pounds of food, and his name is Mr. Gurubachin Khalsa.
Gurubachin Khalsa.
Yeah, he runs a restaurant up in Albuquerque. And so I guess it's going to be coming through his restaurant that he's going to be sending this food to us.
Okay. That is awesome. That's like so very generous, and so many people, within the greater Espanola Valley are in need of food. A lot of our elders, which I've noticed, I'm sure you saw as well, working with Rio County and now with the, city, and then our senior center falls under this, that, a lot of our elders are just too proud. They're
Yeah.
too proud. And that's the way they were raised. So they'd rather, a lot of times starve than to do that. So to be able to identify, and not just them, children, many people. So I think that's a great thing. Very thankful to him. And then, of course, you guys for working with him as well. But I just cannot, thank him enough for that. And I think it'll help our community, especially to do it on a monthly basis. That is a great thing. So just thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Counselor Martinez, any questions there for Mr. Jeremy?
Just thank you, Jeremy, for the energy you bring to your position and your willingness to work with everybody. It just feels like there's more energy since you came on board, and I really appreciate that. I love when we're all working together and everybody's hustling, and you're a big part of that on this committee, and I really appreciate that. Two things I want to mention, of course, reiterate that we're grateful for Guru Bhajan's generosity. I feel like those are, when people do things like that, that needs to be recognized. And that's also something we should be recognizing at a full council meeting so that everybody on the council understands how generous that is, and also gives an opportunity to the public to find out about that food coming into our community and start asking questions about how and where to get a hold of it. So it does two things by communicating that at a full meeting. And then the other thing I wanted to recognize too is that being that Mr. Maestas is on the school board, just letting him know, I don't know if he knew that we were left with about 400 plus backpacks that were delivered to different elementary schools throughout the district. So there was still some left, but they did deliver a good portion of what was left to elementary schools. And I know that they did get them because Councilor Valdez mentioned that her school got some. So that's really awesome. Thank you for all your hard work, and thank you for your continued commitment, Mr. Maestas.
Thank you, Counselor.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Marias. Thank you for a great report and all that you're working with, the collaborations that you're doing. It's nice to see things moving along and moving fast. So I'm really nice to see this. I think if we continue with this momentum, there's a lot of things that we can end up bringing to the area, both in community services as far as sports, and of course also with different types of events that we can bring to this city. And I think you're the one that's going to spearhead that throughout this year and years to come. So thank you for your hard work, sir.
I just wanted to touch base. I know there was some questions in regards to the Lucero Center pool, and there's been a lot of questions about that and concerns about that. And I know Maria will probably touch on this briefly in her report too, but I just want to mention that Jeff and I have been working, trying to get someone out here to do some tests on it to identify the leakage. We did reach out to Leisure Pools to come out and conduct a dye test. However, he is pretty busy at this point in time. So he said that he would probably come within a couple of weeks. He couldn't give us an exact date, but we are trying to get some vendors out to identify where that leak is coming from and how we're going to move forward in getting it repaired. But we are working on it. So like I said, Maria will probably touch more on this on her report, but just so you have an update on that as well.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions on that, Councilor Martinez? I know that you
Yeah, I really feel like that's a really good way to go. A dye test is probably the most important at this point. If that doesn't show anything in the pump room or in the immediate equipment, I think we should probably look at maybe getting somebody out here that has a sound equipment to find out if they can hear it somewhere. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Okay, we'll be moving on then to the Espanola Public Library report with Ms. Sherry Aragon.
Gwen is out on vacation, so we will have Lucy Pena, who is in the library staff member, give her report on her behalf.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. So the first thing that I would be reporting is we have a new hire at the library. We would like to welcome Kiana Seaboy to the Espanola Public Library as our new children's program coordinator. Ms. Seaboy brings a lot of new wonderful energy to the library. In her starting week, she has already started creating programs for the children in the community. Ms. Seaboy will be a great asset to the library. Ms. Seaboy is right here behind me. Along with that, we did help with Project Race's backpack giveaway. We handed out information for the library. A lot of people still don't know that we are open, so we're trying to get as much people back into the library as possible. We also provided a story walk at the backpack giveaway. This is something that we've been doing in kind of replacement of our in-person story time. We're holding it down at Valdez Park on Thursdays from 9 to 10. We are still providing grab and go bags. For this month, we have 15 that are available. Some of them are clothespin grasshoppers, 8 carton goldfish, pool noodle monsters, a button train. We are also doing in-person adult crafting. We have a family movie in the afternoon set up this Wednesday at 1:30. We're trying to go along with the school schedule and figure out when they have their early release date and provide something for the kids that day so we can have them come into the library as well. On the 25th, we will be having Miss Tara Lopez. She will be doing a book signing and a book talk, and it's called Punk in the Southwest. We're also providing free computer classes for the seniors and the adults again.
And then, Mr. Chairman, was that it, Lucy, on
Yes.
that? Just to add on to that, I did ask Ms. Sherry as well to look into providing with the free computer class. I also asked her to look at providing possibly another free computer class for city employees that may need a refresher course on the different programs and softwares that are coming out now for computers. So she'll be looking into that as well.
Great, thank you. And Ms. Seaboy, welcome aboard.
Thank you for having me.
Would you like to say anything? You're more than welcome to.
I'm very excited to be a part of all of this, and I have a lot of ideas for the library, so I look forward to bringing them in. And also, I don't know, I know some of you may have children, but if you have any that would like to also help volunteer to help with the children's program, I know that's something Sherry was interested in as well.
That's great to know. Then we know,
We're gonna try to incorporate as much youth as we can.
see, now you can see also enthusiasm in her. I know Councilor Martinez, you can't see that right now, but there's a lot of enthusiasm in this young lady.
She has a
I
lot
can
of
hear it.
enthusiasm.
I can
You
hear
can
it.
hear it.
She has a
Yeah,
lot of enthusiasm,
Mhm.
Mr. Chairman, and we're very excited to have her on our team, and
she doesn't
she's
want
gonna
to
bring
eat.
a lot of great things to the library. And she's actually working on getting her certificate for some grant writing that she wants to incorporate to get us some funding for the library too. So we're very excited about that.
I wanted to volunteer to help write assist in the grants.
Great. See, now that's what I like to hear, because then that's not just, that's not just doing what we always normally do, but it's starting to do more for our community and thinking out of the box and getting different ideas in. And I like that, instead of just saying, well, this is what we've always done and just keep doing the same old thing. So I really like that. Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That's exactly what I was going to say, thinking out of the box, exactly. But Ms. Seaboy, welcome. I know you have a lot of energy, a lot of smarts, and I think you're going to be a great addition, not just to the library, but to the city as a whole. Grant writing is huge. You know, the city's always looking for opportunities to, to find monies in different areas. Lucy as well. Thank you guys for your hard work. Like I mentioned before, I briefly got to stop by the library. I wasn't really able to meet with everybody, but I was just, passing through. So I just decided to.
I think you stopped by when we had our book signing.
Yes, in fact, I had just, the child author. In fact, I had just missed him, I guess. They were, they had been there. I just missed him by like a couple minutes or probably even less or something. But yeah, you guys, run a great ship, and keep up the great job. I know that as far as Sherry goes, at the time she had mentioned to me, I think the very next week she was going to leave on that training. And if I understand correctly, she is one of 30 people, Javier, that were chosen nationwide. And this is paid for, right? And it's a
Yeah.
1-year-long training, if I'm correct.
I think it's rural libraries.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Throughout the nation.
1 out of 30
to go
throughout
and
the nation. Yeah.
represent.
So that's something to be very proud of. And of course, for our Espanola Valley, and then of course, whatever information she's able to get, bring it back to share with our staff members and our community. I think that's a huge win-win. So again, you guys just keep up the great work, and just very proud of you guys. I always hear very good things about you. So Nasiboy, welcome again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Counselor Martinez.
Just the same, echoing the comments of Mayor Pro Tem Dennis, and just welcome you and hope that you're successful. One of the things that we had talked about as a community committee was a possibility of having an evening where parents could drop off their youngsters, maybe for a movie or whatever, like for a pajama party at the library for like 3 hours so they could go to dinner themselves. So, or for single parents that just need a break for an hour or two. So we'd have to work with legal, of course, to make sure we could do it. And we'd have to put safety precautions in with as far as who could pick them up, and all of those things need to be worked out. But it's something that I'd really like to see happen at the library also. And now that we have somebody specific for children's activities, I think this is a great opportunity. So thank you.
Of course. Also, Peggy, I know that in one of the last city council meetings, you guys a lot of the parents also talked about transportation. And so I know I was gonna reach out to the Blue Bus to see if we could also like incorporate that to get children where they need to be. I know that they're currently not charging at all. And they personalized pickups, so.
Possible that Councilor Mayor Pro Tem Salazar could help with that situation as he sits on that board also.
Yes, absolutely. If we could, be able to collaborate specifics, and then I could be able to meet with Tony, the director of NCRTD, and then see how the RTD can be able to work with that and what they could possibly accommodate. So, thank you.
And Mr. Chairman, just real quickly as well to answer or to add to Councilor Martinez's request. So the library actually does do a movie time now with the kids that they're able to come and watch a movie. I don't think it's in the evening though. It's probably in the afternoon. Is that when it takes place, Lucy?
So we're holding possibly 2. One, when kids get out early, we know that it's like Wednesdays in September. I believe it's the 1st, 15th, and what's the last date? The 29th. Yeah, so we're trying to hold in-person activities for that. And a movie is set for the 18th, which is this coming Wednesday at 1:30. We have done family movie night Friday nights after hours. We can start picking that up again. We have had requests for that as well.
That's a good idea. Maybe we'll look into that.
Okay,
So
Awesome.
Great. Thank you.
you're welcome.
Thank you, Lucy.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kiana. And we also have Miss Valerie here that works in the library as well. Thank you, Valerie. She's the one who takes care of our marquees and posting all the information out to the public. So
I can't seriously have to stand up because of the podium there. Hello. There you are.
He just wants to see who's putting all that information on the marquee.
I
I'm
know.
kidding.
Who do I call? Okay, we're gonna go ahead and move on to the recreational department reports with Maria. How are things going down in?
Good evening.
Good
Good evening, everyone. It's going on. And let me tell, it's going on. Hope everyone had a great weekend. As Jeremy had mentioned earlier, that he saw me pitching over at Chama. It was quite interesting to be out there, honestly. But I give kudos to the Chama village for undertaking that particular Chama days. It takes, honestly, an entire village in order to do that whole thing, what they're doing overnight, day in and day out, meaning starting Thursday evening all
Nonstop.
the way nonstop. It is insane. I can honestly tell you by Saturday evening, people are not in the right place at all. Everyone is trashed. But I give kudos to them for, that undertaking. In essence, not everybody can, everybody doesn't really necessarily, go out there to do that. But those that do make it worse for others. But never mind on that. Let me just continue with my report. I just wanted to, anyway.
Sounds like you had a good time in Chama.
It was a good time, regardless. It was a very good time. So with the aquatics facility, as far as the Penny Garcia Roba, which is obviously known as the Ranchitos Pool, hardly anybody calls it the Penny Garcia. I'm happy to announce that thankfully, and thank you, city manager, and as well as Jeremy, for allowing to extend the hours all the way to possibly September 11th. As you know, the weather has been pretty iffy. I don't know if you were here or not yesterday. The rain was just unreal. But for the most part, we do have the staff that it's pretty much knowledgeable and gung ho, and are able to make the decision right off the bat if there's thunder or lightning, and right away they get everybody out. And they have to obviously wait another half hour before reopening if it clears up. But I give kudos to the staff, the aquatic staff right now, though they may be young, but they are really, really good at what they're doing so far. Water aerobics was instituted, so it's every Monday, or rather Wednesday, Fridays at 7:30 a.m. Ms. Nanette, who used to be the recreation director back in the days, is doing this pro bono. We basically don't necessarily need to pay her. She comes and does the class, and the patrons pay in order to do the class. And they enjoy it. They are really, really happy about that. There's going to be a movie at the pool, which will be at the Penny Garcia Raval, of course. Project Race, and Rack Stop, the library, thank you, for putting all this together. The particular movie will start around dusk, which I believe around 8-ish, maybe sooner than that, depending on, of course, the weather as well. It'll be where snow cones will be at hand, door prizes will be there. So of course, the whole recreation department will be at hand in order to help out anything and everything that needs to be. So it's 75 capacity. And the reason for that, as we all know, because of COVID. It's going to be pretty much a little bit hard to have everybody distance. But if, in my case, and how I foresee it, if you've been together as a family and no one has been exposed, then you can be together. But if you haven't been, with them, then kind of stay away. So that's our protocol per se. Let's see. The hours of operation for the Ranchitos Pool obviously they needed to be changed and modified in order to fit our lifeguards, our staff. We can't necessarily have these young staff pretty much come in at 8 o'clock in the morning and then having to go to school and then come back again. Plus they can't necessarily work over the allotted time frame. I believe it's only like 4 hours during the week per day. And then Saturdays, I believe they can work the 8 hours from what I understand. And as the community services director, Jeremy, mentioned in regards to the Lucero Center, the pool, which is currently down, unfortunately, we don't know as to how long it'll take for someone to come out, because everybody around the state is having the same issue as we are, meaning if somebody wants them to go out and do something, it's going to be hard because they are understaffed. And then of course, the where it goes to, meaning how far it is. So I basically called several other places in order to see if they can come out. And they say, we don't do that anymore. We don't go out there. It's too far. Somebody said, there's just not enough manpower. I don't have it. And so, right now, as Jeremy mentioned, Mr. Maestas mentioned, the gentleman who was supposed to come out here, yeah, he gave us 2 weeks. That was like a month ago. So, it's hard, but we're trying to be patient. And I hope that, the entire rest of the community are patient with us as well. We're definitely glad to have Ashley Schneider on board as our new aquatics coordinator. She definitely has been with us before as head lifeguard and now as an aquatics coordinator. So, it comes at a very opportune time. Of course, now that it's, COVID, not so much, but it definitely, we needed someone who was going to be as enthusiastic, like Miss COVID, sorry. Yes, sorry, is, at this point in time. So I'm really glad about that, that she's in. Let's see. As far as the pools right now, I know that being quote unquote, or not, well, in a way, CPO certified, which is certified pool operator. Right now, I know that we're hoping to have Miss Ashley Schneider become CPO certified. But right now, Miss Angela Frescas, who is the gurus of pools, has been pretty much gung-ho in regards to taking care of that. As a matter of fact, I know that she will be, or she is still right now doing a test in regards to the kiddie pool. If you have gone to the Penny Garcia Roybal, there's a kiddie pool there that has been shut down for probably more than 10 years. So she's looking into that and see what exactly is the problem. So far, before I came in, and then now that I've been here, I had never known. The only thing I knew, and that it was told to me, that there was a leakage, but nobody never said where specifically. So she's going to try to find where that's at. Again, through a dye test as well, and or any other particular means as well. As far as recreational activities, as you well know, at the Lucero Center, there are no leagues going on. There's only open ball basketball is concerned. And I gotta say, it's been pretty low key, and simply because, and the reason for that, I believe it's because of COVID, of course. At first, we used to only have only hour per hour, or a certain amount of people. And so now that it's fully open, not a whole lot of people, because before we used to have maybe 30 to 40 people in one particular hour, and that was a little bit insane. So now it's the most that we have, maybe 22 people at one time. So it's working out. People are understanding to be cautious. One of the things that we do ask them, if you're not vaccinated, please wear a mask. But if you are, well, then that's your choice. But a lot of them are being pretty nice about that. Of course, the younger kids, it's a little bit hard to ask them to do that. They're not very giving on that end, but that's okay so far. As long as we keep disinfecting, we're going to be all right so far. The softball league is, as far as the men's softball league up at the Sportsplex, it's basically 3/4 at the end of the season. Obviously, the weather does play a huge part, so I've been needing to extend it, and it'll probably be the 3rd week of September. If the weather, helps us out, that I'll finish it around the 3rd week of September. I will not continue with the fall league only, it'll be co-ed only as far as the fall league. And it'll be probably just 2 months roughly. With that, November on an average, well, October, there's usually the, what do you call it? The Halloween howl type thing. So it'll be a 1-day thing. I'm trying not to have so many tournaments. And of course, as you know, there is a tournament coming up now, July 21st and 22nd, if it makes. And what that means is that if there's interest, then the tournament will go on. And usually an average for a tournament to go on as planned, I would need at least 8 teams, the minimum 4. And right now I only have 1. So it might not make this particular weekend. The Masquerade co-ed fun tournament, one of the items that I mentioned as far as all accounts to see if anybody would be interested in order to be partaking on that. It's just for fun. Not a whole lot of fee involved because it's pretty much brand new. The rules are very simple. There's different sizes of balls that are involved. The 16-inch, which they call it the mush ball out here, to me is the 16-inch clincher. 12-inch, which is mainly used out here, the 11-inch for women. I will include, and it's each ball will be used differently every inning. So let's say the first inning will be the 12-inch and the 11. And then the second inning will be a kickball. And then the third inning will be where, because this is for fun. So the third inning will be where you hit the ball, but instead of running to first, it'll be to third. It's really, truly funny. And then the fourth inning, whoever's coming up to bat, you have to spin around, with your forehead on the bat, and you spin around and you have, give or take 12 to 15 seconds to get to first base to be safe. Otherwise you're out. So other than that, that tournament, let's see, September, I'm iffy about doing a couple of tournaments there. I know that there are two that are so far pending as far as reservation is concerned. Hopefully they will make, again, same thing, I'm not sure there. The fitness exercise, for the most part, I do that every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Of course, except for today, because I'm up here. And the ages are usually 12 and up. I average about 15 individuals. Now that it, opened back up again, about 15 individuals. Within those 15 individuals, there's about, I want to say 4 individuals that for the most part take the class, quote unquote, for free because they are my volunteers. Whenever I need help at the Sportsplex or even down here, whenever I do volleyball leagues or basketball and stuff like that, all those individuals, they help out in order to set up the net, keep score, and same thing up at the Sportsplex. You cannot go wrong with volunteers, especially if you don't have to pay them. So the only way to thank them is like, okay, you can take my class.
Yeah.
You don't have to pay. And it's only like $3 a class or $25 a month, which is really not a whole lot. Pretty good on that end. I'm happy to announce that the Strong Women's program came back as well. Those, well, they're not so young, but they are very feisty. And I guess, Jeremy can vouch for that. The last time that there was an event going on and they were kicked out, oh my God. They basically all came to my office and it's, Maria, what's going on? Why did they kick us out? We were not done. Sorry. So other than that, they're okay though. After a while, they understand it. Mr. Gino Brazil, as all of you know, basically does not have his establishment anymore, but he is doing similar to what Nanette Smith is doing as far as the water aerobics. He's teaching a class down here, pro bono as well. Whoever wants to take his class, and then the patrons just pay the center. So he's doing it every Thursday at 9:30 in the morning. And that's a really neat thing, something added to our program. As you all know, Mini Olympics was postponed, and of course, due to the cases. Then the other reason that the Española public schools were pretty much iffy, right, on doing this whole thing. So, and I understand, that's quite all right. So it was postponed until next year, May 1st, 2022. So in this particular item, the same thing, kind of like similar to what any particular other event, a lot of people are in need to be involved in this whole thing. It really is neat, this whole thing. I had it together, and so all I have to do is just do it again. Do it again for next year. I'm hoping that the women's volleyball and men's basketball leagues, which hopefully can undertake now in September. But right now, I'm not so sure there. If I can do it, whether it's less people, then it would be okay. But on an average, I try not to. And here's the reason why. Anytime that you play volleyball of any particular league, if you don't have enough people, what do you end up doing? You end up asking someone who you have not been with before, and hey, you want to play? And that person may be, in fact, you don't know. So for the most part, you pick up that person, and what do you end up doing is like, oh, high five. And so it's kind of like iffy on those parts. So it's just a matter of putting it in the rules. You have to be vaccinated or something that needs to be done so that could possibly happen. So crossing fingers there. As Mr. Martinez, or rather, sorry, Jeremy, the park is Ranchitos Park is pretty much undergoing the remodeling portion. I know that a lot of people ask to use it in that. I know that it's still kind of iffy around that part area. I know that I believe, perhaps you may correct me, city manager, the individuals that were vacated from there as far as the campsites. I know it's been less, but there's still quite a bit of item going on there. But nevertheless, the remodeling I hope, will bring a lot more to that area that is best suited. As you know, the Spartans football from, can you remind me of his name? Sun Devils, I'm sorry. Thank you. Mr. Javen Codiz, that's right. He basically needed to move the particular practice here at Valdez Park because of the remodeling item. And I'm glad he was, open to that idea. And of course, I don't know if you've come by or noticed that there's quite a bit of cars parked here at the Lucero Center after 5 p.m. That's what's going on. It's really great to see, especially there. As you know, gatherings and in particular other events, even though it's kind of like late type of thing, they're trickling in from picnics. I know everybody's asking for a lot as far as, can we have this? Can we have that? Well, let us ask. I don't know. It's, the gathering permit is only $35, and now you want a stage? Yeah, no, I can't do a stage right off the bat. But if it can be done, why not? Other than that, that's all I have. I stand for any questions.
Any questions? Go ahead, Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Maria, thank you guys so much. Like, there's a lot going on. There's so much going on. So that's a great thing. And again, I think when I did drop by briefly, you were zooming in, zooming back and forth, and so busy the entire time. And have like you said, you have a very good staff, that's working with you and under you, and you guys just keep up the great job. And there's so many activities, on any given month. I mean, I'm very happy to see about Nanette and Gino Brazil as well. I didn't know about that. You mentioned Gino is there at Thursdays at 9:30 a.m.
AM.
Okay, what about Nanette? When is she?
She's at the Ranchitos at 7:30 a.m.
Ranchitos at
on
7:30.
Wednesday, Fridays.
Okay, do they both have a pretty decent?
Absolutely,
attendees?
pretty decent showing. Yes.
Okay, great. That's awesome to hear. And a lot of this collaboration, and especially for them to do it pro bono like that,
Exactly.
that's even more awesome. I think they're both vested in our community for many years, both of
That's
them.
right.
And I remember Gino when, I was probably 13 years old with Manny's brother, Brian, we'd be going, trying to act all bad, lifting weights. We're all scrawny and skinny. But anyway, keep up the great job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilor Martinez.
Are you on mute?
Councilor Peggy Martinez.
I was trying to pinch in and it wasn't letting me do it. I'm so sorry. Just echoing Dennis's comments concerning, there absolutely is a lot going on there. Actually, a lot to look forward to, especially if COVID improves. So I know that some of and most of what you're doing there at Lucero Center is contingent on what happens with this virus. And hopefully we're headed in the right direction. I'm looking at the revenue for the month and it actually improved a lot from last year at this time when we were all quarantined. So that's really good. And echo too the comments for Ms. Vesquez and Ms. Nanette and Mr. Gino Brazil, just helping the city with their expertise and what they do and with their time. And we certainly appreciate the staff for everything they're doing also. So thank you, Maria.
Thank you.
Thank you, Maria. I think you guys are doing a great job. It's amazing to see all the stuff that's already starting to happen again, especially once everything opened up. And I'm glad to see how much you're doing to take care of things as far as taking as much precautions as you can. We can't be 100%, but we can be as close as we can to it. So it's good to see that going on. And I think we all look forward to seeing when we can get someone to look at the pool here to see what's going on with those leaks, so we can see if we can get that thing fixed ASAP before any more damage is done
Right.
from whatever damage. But thank you so much for everything you guys are doing.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to move on to the Beatrice Martinez Senior Center report. Is Dora? Do we have Dora here?
No, Mr. Chairman, Ms. Dora is actually out on vacation, so I'll be presenting her report for her. And I just also wanted to inform the committee that I did also give out a copy of the report for the Northern New Mexico Regional Arts Center. And I just want to indicate that Ms. Gabriela Silva has been an amazing asset to the city and as well as to my department since I've gotten here. She has gone above and beyond to provide assistance to me, to my department. There's been times where we've been so shorthanded at the senior center that she's willing and ready to go help serve meals. And she's just really a great asset to the city. And I'm very thankful for her and all the work that she does for the city and for the people of the city.
Thank you, sir. She is very amazing for the stuff that she does.
She is, and she puts on a lot of great events. So we're very thankful to her. The report for the Beatrice Martinez Senior Center, as has been mentioned before, we are open fully for our seniors to come in. Right now, if you look at the revenue, you will see that from this time or from July last year to this year, we've seen quite an increase in the participation that we're getting at the senior center. The gym has been reopened for the seniors to be able to utilize versus last year where it was closed due to the pandemic. It is open right now. And so we are seeing some seniors utilizing those facilities. We've had some rentals. One of the things that will be changing in regards to the senior center is the Family Learning Center, who had typically been contracting with the city to get meals for their program, is no longer going to be doing that because they have decided to start contracting with the Espanola Public Schools. So we will not be providing meals for them anymore, as they will be going with someone else on that. The contracts, we do have Zumba that happens Monday through Friday with Maria Varela. We have a Mesa to Mesa who's renting an office space. And then we have obviously Project Race in the back. And then I mentioned already about the Family Learning Center. Again, we are opening at full capacities, of which we opened the senior center on July 6th. The senior committee is currently working to get funding for crafts and trips for seniors, as well as they are looking at getting a bingo machine. And then I also mentioned earlier regarding the ongoing project with the parking lot. Phase 1 has been completed. We're working on finishing phase 2, which is the front parking lot. The 2022-2026 GOB application has been completed and submitted for vehicles and upgrades in the kitchen. GOB approved 47,000 as per our grants manager, and we are waiting on the release of funds for the upgrade to the kitchen equipment. So that was really exciting that we'll be able to upgrade that. Again, lunch is being served on Mondays through Thursdays from 11:45 to 1 p.m. And then Fridays, we only have breakfast from 8:30 to 10. And the menu is also attached. So we want to encourage our seniors to participate and join us at the senior center. They've been very, very happy to be back in action, and we're happy to have them. And hopefully we'll be able to keep it that way, depending on the situation with the pandemic. And I stand for any questions if you have any, Mr. Chairman or members of the committee.
Counselor Martinez, any questions, sir, ma'am?
I'm looking at the page that you presented and it says gym use $72, and I'm curious about that because I thought that gym was free. So could you explain that? I thought that it was free for seniors.
Oh, I'm sorry, Counselor Martinez, I don't have an answer for that. I will look into it and get you an answer. I'm not sure. I thought it was free too, but I will double check with Ms. Dora.
Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions, ma'am?
Not at this time, just again, know that that entity is one that has been busy from the get-go throughout the COVID. These are all special people that have committed and stayed working even when COVID was at the peak in our community. So, you know, their revenues have considerably grown steadily, more and more and more. And I do hear a lot of good things about the meals. So we thank the staff there at the senior center. And I also feel like the city of Espanola could afford a certain amount of art supplies annually. I don't think that's out of the question, or I don't know why we feel like we have to fundraise for that. Like I feel like we could possibly set aside $500 a year for craft supplies. I think that's a lot of supplies, or maybe even a little bit more. Maybe look at our budget at quarter year and see if it's available, and if it is, then that's something that we should consider funding. I know that the seniors are one entity that probably were most affected by the solidarity of COVID and being isolated from their families and their friends. So I think this is a worthwhile investment on our part, especially being that the center has been able to do well with the revenue. So I think it should be reinvested into that entity. So I would hope that we could look at this down the road, maybe at quarter, and see if it's possible that we can fund a little bit for art supplies. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Chairman Martinez. I would just like to echo Counselor Peggy Sue Martinez's comments. I think this is something that would be great if this could possibly be done. You know, anything with art supplies, anything with activities, we know all that, you know, the seniors eat it up. They love it. They absolutely love that. As well as I'm really glad to see Director Maestas state that the gym at the senior center is back open. The seniors love that as well. So slowly but surely, you know, these activities are coming back. And again, at the senior center, so many good things are happening. We always hear great things about the meals, the food, the service. And again, just you guys keep up the great job. Thank you.
Thank you, counselors. There's really nothing more I can add to them, what you guys have already said. They're just doing a great job at the senior center. I think community services in general is doing a fantastic job with everything kind of opening up and getting to a semi back to normal reality for us. And it's glad to see that everything is going the way it's going. Do we have any questions from any of the counselors before we adjourn this meeting? No? Seeing no more questions, we look like our next meeting is scheduled for September 30th, 2021. And with that, if we don't have any issues with that date, or if you do, if anything comes up, please contact Mr. Maestra, so that we can see if there's an alternate date that we can have, just to make sure that we continue these meetings and moving things forward. Or if you have any ideas that you wish as a committee that we can do, please bring it up to myself or to Mr. Maestas, and we can see if we can bring it into our committee, especially events or anything that we can do towards bringing more people out to play, as they say here in the city, and see if we can collaborate or make some changes on anything that we see fit moving forward. I would like to see if now, especially now with the winter coming up, and we did hear a lot at our last city council meeting about the homeless. And of course, the homeless taking part into different areas of our community, namely the Monterey Lane area, and seeing if there's maybe something we can do through our committee to see if there's something we can come up with as a possible remedy for that. And maybe we can think about that, and then maybe we can talk about that on our next meeting and see what we can do about that as a committee. Okay? Well, thank you. And with that, let's adjourn the meeting.